my life is a mess, right? We know this. I'm still trying to figure everything out, still trying to, find ways to pay for everything that I want to do this year and for the rest of my life. My life's a mess. I'm 23 years old. I don't have to be 23 years old. I don't have to be, have this all figured out, I ran a marathon in all 50 states last year. I went to all 7 continents, including Antarctica, and ran 26.2 miles, a full marathon, over the course of 1 week, one a day for a week, at the start of this month. And I'm still a mess, y'all. You don't have to have things figured out even when you start succeeding. My buddy Tyler told me something great yesterday. He said that one of the best lessons that he had learned from a professor at his, UGA School of Business, whatever it was that most people have no idea what they're doing with their lives, but there's some that are better at containing that inadequacy, or basically fake it till you make it, right? And so then no one knows, but having the confidence, even if you don't know, that you'll be able to figure it out is all you need to have, right? That's the key. And how do you always have that confidence? Put your faith in God, right? It's like, all right, Lord, I'm not just saying that I trust you. It's like, no, in this moment, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. So I give it up to you, Usually I get a lot of clarity immediately after, and when it's a true surrender, not just saying it, And so woke up this morning, that's why I look like this, and, had this idea that my life's going to go by pretty fast, right? I'm going to get to do a bunch of incredible things. Now, will I get to travel the U.S. and do crazy adventures through the rest of my life? Maybe not, The series idea for this year was supposed to be a double date in every state, right? I don't like that idea right now because there's a lot of questions that come into play. One, my reputation. People might ask oh, is Wyatt, going on these double dates in every state and sleeping around, and I don't want that. So then immediately what popped into mind, and not immediately, it took me 3 months to decide that I wasn't going to do that series. What popped into my mind was oh, I'll do that with my wife one day, right? I'll go on a double date in every state with my wife. Of course, that makes perfect sense, because then there's no question of my reputation. I can have solid conversations with someone who I really trust and confide in. And then the story develops over time, and together we help to establish people in a relationship, or just to have fun and conversation and teach people what it looks like to be in your late 20s, right? And have these meaningful conversations. When the audience who's going to watch the videos is probably going to be a lot more mature at that point. Because right now, the conversations I'd have, they would be interesting. People might not fully resonate or understand, right? Because I like to talk about some deep stuff, Maybe I'm not even in the position to be able to talk to the level that I need to be in the spotlight at that point. Who knows, right? Who knows? But what I do know is that as a 23-year-old guy, single, no responsibility, seriously, and I'm so grateful for that right now in this season, this is probably the last year that I'll be able to go out there and do some crazy fun adventures, right? 2026, if I really want to try to run a marathon in every country, I know in the past I've said, I'm going to run a marathon every day for a year, for the whole year of 2026. Things change, right? Instead of doing it every single day for a year, I'm just going to run a marathon in every country starting in 2026. It might take me a year and a half, 2 years. Who knows? Maybe it takes me a year, right? Maybe I break 2 world records in the process. But one thing is for certain, once I do that, man, lots of responsibility on my shoulders. If I'm building up a brand that whole time, when I get back, I'm going to have to be moving into the 365 days of doing bucket list items. So then that's pretty crazy. I'm going to be traveling around the world a lot for that. Maybe I do 200 countries again for the 365 series. Maybe that series doesn't even happen. Who knows? But what I do know is that when I get back, I'll be 25. And college will be, looming, right? I will have to take on college if I want to pursue the other things I want to do with my life. Okay, so that is looming. Well, as well, at 27, I need to start having kids, right? Because there's that dream. You have all these conflicting dreams, and so then I got to pull it back and think for this year. I don't have to care about what happens in the future, right? Not that I don't have to care. I don't have to be worried about what happens in the future. I have these things in mind, and I have to keep in mind that the time will pass very fast. I will be there before I know it. So if I want to take full advantage of my youth, then I'm 23 years old. This is the year to go out there and have 50 adventures, the 50 States Adventure Challenge. Let's just go have some fun, you know? I'll be training this whole year to run a marathon in every country, right? If I do follow through with that series next year, which I'm very intent on doing it. And so then might as well have fun in the process. I get to go do all these running events around the country this year. That's not the focus of the series, but I'll go there because that's where most of my community is. I'll take the people from that community and go out and do fun adventures. That'll grow the community that I have to a much larger, broader audience. That way, when I do travel to every country and I run a marathon, like, yeah, I'm running the marathon, that's interesting. But it's really just like the travel, the adventure, the whole story, the people that I meet, you know? If I have a running audience, they're going to want running content. So there's twofold reasons, right? One, the less important reason is like I need to make sure that the videos in 2026 do well. And part of that is by doing the entertaining side of things, like the adventure, zipline, whitewater rafting, whatever it is. And then part of that is beginning to establish those formats now. Okay, so be it. Like, yeah, I got to figure this out as a business owner. There we go. The thing that matters more personally to me is that this is the last year where I'll have the freedom to go out there and have 50 memories. Like, this is the year. This is the dad lore. Yeah, I ran a marathon in all 50 states, and that was interesting. It was very fun, too. Those were unique experiences. But, like, the dad lore of, like, yeah, I climbed that mountain. Or we skied down that volcano. That's this year. Dad lore in every state. And then, you know, I can establish, like, the dad lore brand. Dreamers and doers. Dad. So, yeah, maybe I'm just going after dad lore this year. I'm having realizations as I talk this out on camera. So, and then as a wonderful consequence of pursuing these dad lore things, I get to inspire people in a different way, right? I don't have the ticking clock of the 50 States Marathon Challenge. You know, if I don't make it to an adventure one week, there's no time. I could just push it off to the next weekend. Maybe there's some tension throughout the year, but the momentum that was built up for the 50 States Marathon Challenge won't be there this year. And so then now I'm figuring out how to make videos that are actually entertaining, because I could post any type of video at the end of the year and would have gotten 30,000 likes, right? Not anymore. It'll be back when I go do the 200 countries. It'll be back. But right now, that's not the case, which is good. I got to actually learn how to make entertaining videos. And this is why success is sometimes more than a curse than it is a blessing. Because if you succeed without knowing why, then you can't replicate the success. And that's not a good standing for a business or for just an individual in general. You know, in life in general. If you don't know how to replicate success, then it was blind luck that got you there, you know? So, yeah, it'll be a good year. I'm excited. Let's make some memories. Let's call back on this time. Take some photos. Photos of me not running marathons or riding a penny farthing bike across the country with a massive beard, or photos of me not sleeping in a van with my buddies while we drive around the country, or sitting in my car driving to 100 colleges throughout the United States. Maybe let's get some photos of, like, I don't know, having fun for once. It's going to be a good year. And now I have to keep that in mind. The central focus of this year is to create dad lore with a community, so I can build the community, right? Because that's the only way to really change the world, is to bring people with you. Fun times for the 50 States Adventure Challenge. Let's ride.